Hello everyone and welcome to another Rise of Kingdoms video. This is Dragothian here, and today we're going to continue our Legendary Commander Ranker series with a City Garrison edition. So I went to start the Garrison edition of this video yesterday, like last night, and I realized that there's actually 3 different flavors of Garrison editions that I need to do. One is for the city, okay, because that's its own thing. Then you've got for Arc, that's another thing. And then finally, open field. So anything to do with non-city, regular combat garrison, because the ranker is completely different depending on which situation of garrisoning you're doing. So I'm going to do the city garrison one first. Tomorrow I'll do the arc version of that. And then finally I'll wrap it up with the open field garrison, if that makes sense, because you're going to be in a structure and simultaneously be in the regular kingdom. You know, whether it's KVK or regular kingdom combat, that's going to be the thing. So we're going to go ahead and get cranking on this. We're going to do the same thing we did in the last ones, and then we'll get rolling. So Alex, we're going to start with Alex. He's actually, I'm going to go ahead and put him as a fail. He's going to be starting off at fail right off the bat. So the reason he's a fail is almost all of his skills are contingent upon him being on the map. So if he's in a city, he's not on the map, and the majority of his skills do not work. So he's probably going to be a fail for all of them. However, for this one specifically, he is definitely a fail. Leonidas. I'm in between. I'm tempted to put him into best. He definitely is a in between better and best. He can definitely be a best commander for sure, no doubt about it. His skills lend very well to being tanky. Having that the expertise as well is very, very nice. I may put him into best. I'm gonna take the entirety of this video to figure that out. Charles is definitely in the best category. If you're under 2.5 million troops, he should be your primary garrison commander for your city. 100 times out of 100. This is the best commander to have for your garrison, for your city. Anytime, but specifically if you have less than 2.5 million troops, you definitely should have that be the case. Guan Yu, I'll put him in the better category. He's very squishy, doesn't have a whole lot of defense going on. He can do decently. I think that his skills lend again towards being more on the open field. However, if you've got a ton of troops, this might not actually be a bad idea either. But he doesn't have the garrison tree. That's the downside. So something to keep in mind. I'm going to put him in better because he can be used as a secondary as well, although not as well. But again, he can be used primary without garrison tree and still be perfectly fine if you have enough troops. So I'm going to put him in better. Richard. Anybody who has watched my channel before will realize I'm putting Richard in the epic fail. If there was an epic fail category that I made on this ranker, he would be in it. Not only, if it wasn't for his heal, he'd be pretty good. But he doesn't have a shield like Alex does going for him, but the rest of Alex's skills don't work. Richard, his skill works, and that's why he's a fail. Him healing brings back your slightly wounded troops into the battle, and normally when you're taking a rally on your city, you've got basically 1 health bar until you're done. And usually that is a full hospital or a half a hospital or something less than a hospital, unless it's an absolutely devastating rally that you should not be taking. Richard will bring all that stuff back. So instead of stopping you from filling up your hospital or going all the way up until you fill your hospital, Richard will bring those troops back that are not severely wounded in battle, which are the majority, by the way, and bring them back into battle so they can be re-damaged and either reclassified as severely or slightly. So with that being said, you're going to take more dead by having Richard in your garrison for city. So you do not want to use Richard. As much as it looks like it could be appealing, do not use Richard in your city garrison. Constantine. I'm going to put him in best. And he would have been better, but with the recent buff that he got against Cav and with the prevalence of Attila Takeda, Saladin Takeda, Genghis Saladin, Saladin Genghis, whatever pairing you want, he's going to be popped into the best category. I think he's definitely worthwhile to have maxed out. He doesn't necessarily need to be maxed out. He can be 5/5 something, 3 to 5, and be perfectly fine. His third skill is very good on Garrison as well. So especially with that cav bonus that third skill got, you want to get that third skill maxed out fairly well as well. So I think this will be a good thing to have as maxed out commander. So best is definitely the category for Constantine. Charlemagne. I think this fail category is going to get filled up pretty quick. That's why I'm kind of stacking them up a little bit. Charlemagne's definitely a fail here. There's no value here. A lot of his stuff is also on the map, and then on top of that, he's a mixed troop commander with no garrison tree. He's a conquering commander. He just does not work in any capacity. Freddy, I'm going to put him in the good category just because he can be used as a secondary. Now, he's not the best secondary because all of his other skills are based on you rallying something. But his skill damage is still one of the highest in the game for a single target. So I'm going to put him in the good category. Maxed out, he's definitely worthwhile to have as a garrison commander, but only as second. Only as second. Julius Caesar. Oh. Yeah, I just don't see a value. I'm sorry. A lot of his stuff is rally based as well. He could maybe be in the good category, okay category, but none of his stuff is actually for garrisoning or really just helping out in a garrison situation at all. Everything he's got is troop capacity based or sieging based, and his shield is nice. His primary shield, the reduction in the skill damage buff is nice, but I'll put him in the good. I talked myself into it. He's in the good category. He should be in between these two, though. Don't use him. is basically what I'm getting at. But he can be used, and it's not the worst in the world, but it's definitely not the best. Wu. Definitely in the best category. She's one of the better city garrison defenders. She has a little bit of everything. She's got some quality skill damage. She's got skill damage reduction. She's got a little bit of healing, but not so much like Richard that it completely prices you out of maxing your hospital. She's got a little bit of everything. She takes care of some attack and damage reduction. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on positively for Wu. So she's definitely in the best category. Hands down. Ethelfled. I'm going to put her in good. And the only reason I'm putting her in good is because she's got benefits when she's got 3 different troop types, which all city garrisons should have. She has an AoE, and she's got a debuff. Now, there's no skill damage reduction. There's no shield reduction. There's nothing really great going for it, which is why I've got her in the good versus better and best. But she can be used, especially for a free-to-play player who needs to have a powerful commander. This is better than, I would say, like an Olgi or something like that, or at least from a secondary perspective. Let's go to Mechamed. I'm also going to put him in good. Same thing. He's got decent AoE damage. He's got a skill damage bonus. Again, as a second only, I would not put him as a primary. He doesn't have the garrison tree, anything like that. So I'm going to put him in the good category. Maybe better, but I think Guan has a better portfolio of skills than Mechamed does, which is why he's in the better versus good. Barca. Yeah, I don't see it. He's a fail. He's definitely a fail. There's nothing going there for him. He's got a debuff, an AoE debuff, but the skill damage is very small, and again, all of his skills are open field based or triple troop type kind of thing. I would just skip him altogether. He's a fail. Ramses. I haven't really thought about Ramses as a garrison commander. I guess he could be a second. Yeah, I'll put him as a second. Sure. I'll put him in the good category as a second. Based off his skills, he's got really good damage from a skill damage perspective. A lot of his stuff is movement speed based, but he does have quite a bit of stats. So attack, defense, stats for archers. And if you're heavy on archers in your city, it's not the worst in the world. I definitely wouldn't go searching for him to be the elite next commander, but for garrison. But, I mean, it's not the end of the world. Artemisia. Best. Now, this might come as a shock to some of you and might be obvious to others. Artemisia is a quality garrison commander, and she's going to be that way for all of the garrison videos that you're going to see, so spoiler alert. I've seen some very quality reports, and I've also seen some very quality defenses in the Osiris League playoffs this season alone, where she was taking on Attila Takeda with no problem as a primary commander for garrison. You can put Artemisia primary, Wu secondary, or YSG secondary, or Charles secondary. All of those work very, very well, and they go up against Attila Takeda with a positive result. And then same thing with nuking commanders. It's almost like a set it and forget it kind of commander, guys. So Artemisia is going to be your next like go-to for garrisoning structures and cities. Let's see, YSG also going to be a best. He's the best second commander in the game for garrisoning anything. Again, because he causes dead when people are walking around him and somebody's rallying your city. He will cause dead to open field armies around your city. So that's extra dead, extra damage that you're inflicting. And then also, again, if you're getting swarmed, he is a true anti-swarm garrison commander because he deals damage like crazy. And he starts firing off those skills like crazy too with his second skill. So very, very good to have there. Edward, garrison, fail. His skill takes too long to go off. Nothing about him screams garrison. He's got movement speed buffs, which don't do anything for you in garrison. It's just he's on the fail category. There's no doubt about it. Tamiris. I'm going to put Tamiris in the good category just because you can put her as a second for a skill damage debuff, and counting on maybe some alliance or kingdom mates to come and like help you out, and you'll basically be debuffing the rally for people who are coming to swarm it with nuke damage, or however you want to do it. There is a use for her as a second in garrison, but again, it's borderline. But she does have good skill damage as a second, so it's not the end of the world to have her as your secondary skill damage in your garrison, but not the best by any means at all. El Cid. I want to put him as better. He's got some things going for him that lean towards garrison. So, firstly, he has a skill that basically enhances his damage once the army reaches a certain point. So I think it's 50% now. It used to be 25% less. Now it's 50% or something to that effect. So that enhances the damage overall. And when you've got a lot of troops in one place, that's very, very powerful. Also, his disable effect is very critical against a rally. And when you're talking about Attila Takeda, or specifically a skill damage rally, delaying all those skill damages longer and longer, and it's exponentially better as the rally goes on, means that you're going to be taking less damage while dealing more damage, and that's also very helpful. So I'm going to put him in the better category. Not the best, not good, definitely not a fail. Khan. I'm going to put him in the fail category simply because he requires 100% cav to work. So all of his skills require you to have 100% cavalry to make his stuff work. His expertise is only available whenever it's full cav. So you can't really do that with city unless you've structured your city with just cav and you removed all of your other troops from your city. And even then, I'm still not 100% sure if it works. So I'm going to put Khan in fail just because of that reason. Most of his stuff doesn't work because he needs to be full cav. Minna, I'm going to put him in the better category. He's in a decent spot to be a second inside of a garrison for that second commander being a nuking commander. You can do Charles Minna, Charles YSG, Charles El Cid, Charles Guan Charles, Charles Leo Charles. You can do all those things. All those pairings are very, very good. Double C, I'm not a huge fan of him being in the better category. I'll put him in the good category because he lowers your damage, or he lowers your defense, I'm sorry. So his expertise lowers your defense. And in a rally situation, when you're garrisoning something, you want to have as much defense as possible when you're garrisoning a structure, and he lowers your defense by 10% with his expertise. So I would say good, not great. That's why Minna's above him, because one, technically he does do more skill damage than Double C does, and two, a lot of Double C's bonuses have to do with movement speed, and the expertise, while is nice, with the attack bonus, you lose defense, and that's a problem when you're trying to garrison something. Saladin. I'm going to put him in the best. Not as a primary, as a secondary. Again, unless you have nothing but Cav in your city, you don't want to have him primary. But as a secondary to Wu, to Artemisia, to Charles, to Constantine, very, very solid, especially against a nuking rally. So an Edward Tamiris, a Genghis Saladin, a Saladin Genghis, Saladin Takeda even would work just fine. He reduces so much skill damage, the damage that you take from skill damage. It's very good to have him as a second. Wu Saladin is actually one of the better single target skill damage rally takers in the game. Attila. I'm actually going to put him in fail. He does not do anything for you. He, again, needs to have full cav more often than not. Again, this is the City Garrison Edition, guys. This is not the Arc Edition. This is not the Open Field Structure Edition. Okay, this is the City Garrison. You got to have full cav for Attila, and you can't get that with City, again, unless you remove all those troops. However, he doesn't have any skill damage, and again, I just don't see the benefit of having Attila as a City Garrison captain. Takeda. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. I mean, it's the same idea. There's not a whole lot of skill damage coming out. There is none, actually. He does have a little bit of a heal, which is kind of nice, but again, getting to that borderline of why we put Richard where we did. So I'm going to put Takeda also as a fail for City Garrison because he doesn't have any like super defense unless you're full cav, and again, you're not going to be that way with Takeda and City. Cleo. Also a fail for obvious reasons, and so much of a fail that she's got to hide behind Takeda's war flag right here. She can't be seen. She's like, I don't want to be on this video because I know I'm a terrible City Garrison defender. Sundiak, same thing. I kind of want to like sneak behind here, but you know I can't because Cleo's already there, so I'm going to get as close as possible. Ishida, same thing. I can't hide because I'm a big mop guy. So I'm going to go ahead and pop right there. And that is it. That is our Legendary Commander City Garrison Edition. Let me go ahead and spread these guys out for you so you can see it. Can't spread the fail part. Lots of fails on this one. I'm a little more surprised than I thought on how many fails there were going to be. Obviously, the Gathering Commanders, you're just not going to get anything from a City Garrison perspective that's halfway decent. And again, some of these better ones I could make best. You really could. You really could make them best and make them work for the most part. But, yeah, spot on with some of these spacing outs. You can make some arguments for some of the best, or some of the betters going to best. Specifically, Leo and Guan, I think, are the two that really kind of jump out at me. And then good. You could make an argument maybe for Mechamed to be in the better as a second. Same thing with Double C, but again, I don't like taking away defense from a garrisoned city structure. So just to give you guys an update before I wrap this video up, hopefully you've stayed with me this long. I have a big announcement coming up, and it's a life change. And I'll be streaming pretty much every day this week because of it. So I'm going to see you guys tomorrow on a morning stream. Hopefully you guys join me and we'll start going over some more things. And we've got KBK enhancements coming up and all that good stuff. I also want to talk to you guys about the new patch notes and all those good things. So, but I did want to put this video out too because I was thinking about it last night. And then I got tied up today with a bunch of stuff that we will talk about going forward this week and going forward. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I will see you guys next time. Cheers. Have a good one. And take care.